Everything you wanted to know about laser tattoo removal. Let's get it. First question, let me look. First question, how do you remove a tattoo? There are multiple means by which you can remove a tattoo. You can do mechanical disruption of the ink via dermabrasion, where it's physically scraped out. You can do surgery, where the tattoo is actually surgically excised. You can freeze tattoos, you can burn tattoos, many different ways to destroy the skin. However, all of those methods will leave you with scarring. Might be tissue texture change, might be a regular scar, hypertrophic scar, even a keloidal scar. But the definitive way to remove a tattoo, the gold standard means by which to treat a tattoo, is via laser. So, great second question. How does tattoo removal work? The tattoo is embedded in a middle layer of your skin called the dermis. Laser light enters the skin, it goes through the epidermis, it destroys the ink in that dermal layer, and it fractionates it into very small pieces. Now, it doesn't make it go away completely. The laser light simply breaks it up. And when those ink particles are much smaller, well, then your body can slowly wash them away through lymphatic drainage, through vascular changes. So think of it this way. The ink is embedded in your skin right now, and it's a large mountain of ink. Well, the laser light hits it and it breaks it into large boulders. More laser light hits it and it breaks it into large stones. More light hits it and it breaks it into pebbles. And those are broken into little tiny grains, and those are broken into dust. And after treatment, after treatment, after treatment, your body actually does the work and washes the tattoo ink away over time. So the way laser tattoo removal works is that the laser is the best friend with your immune system, and those two together work in conjunction to remove these unwanted tattoo ink particles. Can you remove all tattoos? That's a tricky question. You could treat all tattoos, you can fade the vast majority of tattoos, and you can eliminate the ink in the majority of tattoos. It's all about patient selection and realistic expectations. So when someone comes in to a clinician that practices laser tattoo removal, that person should be able to give you some guidance as to how fadeable or how treatable the tattoo is. In some circumstances, the tattoo shouldn't be treated. Eyebrow tattoos can be notoriously difficult. Different teal colors are challenging. The bright neon colors on warmer skin tones can be really challenging. So it just depends on the underlying factors, and that's why you need to go to someone who has a lot of experience so that they can let you know if your individual personal tattoo is fadeable or treatable. What is laser tattoo removal like, and is it uncomfortable? Laser tattoo removal is definitely uncomfortable. We numb you up with numbing cream. We also talk to you during the process. It's a process called talkesthesia to distract your brain a little bit. And we have a Zimmer chiller or Zimmer cooler to cool the area. So we make it very tolerable, but in the interest of full transparency, it is an uncomfortable process. The good news is that it's a fast process. A postage stamp size tattoo, 1 inch by 1 inch, takes 10 to 15 seconds to treat. And the treatment is only uncomfortable during the actual process. It doesn't hurt much after, so people tolerate it really well. Needless to say, the treatment's fast, but yes, it does hurt a little bit. Will laser tattoo removal leave a scar? This is a really important question. What I want you to do is look at your own tattoo, close your eyes, and feel it. If you can feel your tattoo, we call that palpate. If you can palpate your tattoo with your eyes closed and you can feel that it's there, or you can see that it's raised at all, well, that's pre-existing scar tissue. And that's because the tattoo artist went too deep and your body didn't like it. And as a result, it built up some scar tissue. Those tattoos are trickier to treat because the ink is embedded within those collagen fibers of the scar. But the laser is only going to target the unwanted ink. It is not going to target that extra tissue. So if you can feel it and it's raised prior to treatment, that will remain. Now, in terms of the treatment itself causing scarring, if you have smooth skin, the answer is no. However, there are two caveats to that. One, if you have pre-existing tissue texture changes or scarring, well, that's going to remain. So the laser is not going to help or change that. Number two, if you don't follow aftercare instructions and you don't do a good job taking care of the treated tattoo after treatment, well then, of course, you're prone to adverse reactions, including, but not limited to, tissue texture changes and scarring. Point being, take really good care of your tattoo after the fact. Do I need to do anything after treatment? And this question I would also say is another version is, what should I do after I receive treatment? So here's the answer. With laser tattoo treatment in particular, more so than any other aesthetic treatment, it is a partnership between the clinic providing the treatment and the patient when they go home. Because again, the laser light enters the skin and it's the light that fractionates the ink. But it's you as the patient, your body, your immune system that removes the ink. So you need to have common sense caution, taking really good care of the area, keeping it clean, keeping it elevated and relaxing for a few days after the treatment will give you the best chance of having a positive laser tattoo removal experience. How many treatments do I need? I was waiting for this question. This is the single most important question in all of laser tattoo removal. How many treatments do I need? Well, I'm gonna brag for a second. In 2006, a long time ago, I, along with my colleague, Dr. Desai, we wrote a paper. And that paper was published in a relatively successful journal called the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology. And that paper is called the Kirby-Desai scale. And it is a predictive scale to determine how many treatments you might need to remove a tattoo. Now, this scale has been adopted worldwide. The Kirby-Desai scale has 6 different parameters: skin type, location of the ink, color of the ink, the amount of ink, scarring, also known as texture change, and if there's layering present. These things you put into the scale and it will give you a predictive number of approximately how many treatments you need. Now, the caveat, and I want to disclose this very, very clearly, in the interest of full transparency, the scale is not perfect. And of course it's not. No one should think it's perfect because your individual body is very different than mine and different than anyone else's in the world. And there's other subjective parts to this. It's very difficult to figure out how much ink was actually injected by the tattoo artist. The volume of the ink, it's just very difficult to determine that. So the scale is exceedingly helpful and it's the single best tool that you have to use for free. Just Google the Kirby-Desai scale, put in your own parameters. It's the best way to figure out how many treatments you will need to give you the best chance of full ink resolution. How long should I wait between laser tattoo removal treatments? I love this question. Every part of your body has cellular turnover, and that turnover is dependent upon your age, your overall health, and the part of the body where the cells are turning over. So as an example, on mucosa surfaces like your lips, well, that cellular turnover is very, very, very fast. If you look at the sole of your foot, like the heel, well, that cellular turnover is much, much, much slower, just because of the nature of those cells. So we know that on average, and agreed, this is a very generalized statement I'm gonna make, on average, human adult cell cycle turnover takes place on a 35 to 57 day period. Again, that depends on the cell and the area, but you're looking at about a 4 to 8 weeks time frame for cells to turn over. Now, think about this. The ink is embedded in the skin and it's meant to be permanent. Your body doesn't recognize it as foreign. It's just sitting there. It's inert. We have to irritate that ink through laser tattoo removal, entering the skin, fractionating it to break it up. Now, how long does it take your body to remove this ink? That's the single most important question. But if you look at cellular turnover, you're looking at a minimum, again, 35 to 57 days, 4 to 8 weeks to turn this over, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, somewhere in that time frame. And that is a bare minimum. So one of the universal truths of laser tattoo removal is that it is a slow process. The longer you wait between tattoo removal sessions, the better you'll do. I recommend 6 to 8 weeks, preferably 8 weeks, and the longer, the better. Why should I get laser tattoo removal at LaserAway? Experience. We have more experience than anyone else in the world. I have supervised, delegated, and treated more laser tattoo removal patients than any human alive on this planet. From a clinical perspective, no one has more experience than LaserAway. Yes, the universal truths fall into place no matter what. It's an uncomfortable treatment. It takes a long time. You have to space it out appropriately. But ultimately, laser technology and experience win this race. We're here for you in that process, and we want to be your partner with laser tattoo removal. Thanks for joining me for another session of Ask Dr. Kirby. Put your questions in the space below, and I'll try to get to them in the future. And always wear your sunscreen. Dr. Kirby out.
Ready to be a laser babe? 3 steps. 1, subscribe to our channel. 2, watch more amazing videos. And 3, schedule your free virtual consultation for any of our services by clicking the link below. Then we can be friends in real life.